I'm Andrea Giles, and you're listening to the Heal from Infidelity podcast, episode number 25, Accepting What Is. Hello, and welcome to the Heal from Infidelity podcast, where courageous women learn not only to heal from their spouse's betrayal, but to become the boldest, truest, most decisive, and confident versions of themselves ever. If you know there's more for you than the life you're currently living, but don't quite know how to get there, you are in the right place. Stick around to learn how to create a life that will knock your own socks off. Is it possible? It is, and I'm here to show you how. I'm your host, Andrea Giles. Are you ready? Let's dive in. Hello, everybody. I hope you're all doing well. Welcome to episode number 25. We are moving right along. So I'm going to just jump in, okay? So something happens that's really interesting when I'm coaching. I coach several people a week, and it's like my clients don't know each other, right? They don't know each other. But it's like there's themes of the week where multiple people will come with the same stuff that they're working through. And I find myself teaching the same things or coaching through the same things. And so I decided that I'm going to share a podcast about the things that I shared with my clients in hopes that it will help you as well. This is actually a topic that I really enjoy teaching. I enjoy thinking about it. I enjoy looking inside my brain to see where I'm at with certain things, where I'm creating problems for myself, and I'll get into why that is, okay? But you've probably heard before about acceptance and how important it is to accept things to be able to move forward. Like you hear about loss and how when we can go through the phases where we're really just in denial of the loss, we just want it to be wrong, and that one big piece is accepting the loss, right? So how does this play out in the realm of infidelity? I'm going to tell you about it, okay? So there's somebody that I follow named Byron Katie, and she does a lot of work around acceptance and not just accepting things, but learning to love them. She has a book called Loving What Is, and one of the quotes that she has that I use a lot is, "When you argue with reality, you lose, but only 100% of the time." And my friends, that's about right. When we argue with what is, we create a lot of pain for ourselves. So in this podcast, I'm going to go through 3 different stages of growth and tell you about what it's like in those stages. And I'm going to give you examples of what it's like in those stages based on some actual clients, okay? So when people first start with me, they're generally in stage 1. What is stage 1? Stage 1 is when we are really mad at what is. We're arguing with what is. We're making it wrong. Sometimes this looks like making other people wrong. Sometimes it looks like making ourselves wrong. I'm going to give you some examples, okay? So this past week, I coached one of my clients who her divorce just finalized in December. She had plans for January. She was excited to kind of feel like she could move forward with her life. And she slipped a disc in her back and is in terrible pain. She's flat on her back. It was tough to even get on the call with me because she was in a lot of pain. And she's making it mean that all the things that she's wanted, she can't have. Like she can't move forward. She can't do the things with her home that she wanted to do. Something bad has happened. She can't do things with her body that she wanted to do. She's kind of mad about it. She's also sad. She's feeling a little bit of depression around it. She's feeling like right when she starts to move forward, something happens to pull her back. So in her mind, she's creating a lot of sadness and grief and extra layers of grief around that this shouldn't have happened, that this is wrong that it happened. Okay, another example is another client who has been divorced for several years, but she still is kind of mad about how things played out. And she feels like she got the short end of the stick and that her ex-husband got everything he wanted. He got everything he wanted and she did not get what she wants, and that's as good as it's going to get for her. And she has a lot of evidence to support this story. She has lots of evidence to it. He's having the life that I was supposed to have, and this is as good as it gets. That's the story that she's in. The more we coach, the more I can show her how she's creating this story for herself over and over again. And I'll get to that a little bit later about what happens when we evaluate those stories. But right now she's in a spot where she's just mad at it. Like it shouldn't be this way. I'm going to give you some more kind of, not symptoms, that's the wrong word, but just indicators that you're in this stage, okay? Before I do, know that there's nothing wrong, inherently wrong with being in this stage or in any stage. It's just a place of awareness to see where we are truthfully. If we can't see where we are, we can't decide to do something different. We can't change what we don't know, right? We can't see what we can't see. So there's nothing wrong. It's just awareness. Okay, back to more indicators of being in stage 1. In stage 1, we are believing often that something outside of ourselves is causing our pain. It might be the husband, it might be the ex-husband, it might be the other woman, it might be an injury, it might be the finances, that this is as good as it gets financially. If only I had more money, I could then go create the life of my dreams. Or sometimes we make ourselves wrong. We believe that we made a terrible mistake, and if we only would have made a different choice, we would not be in the situation we're in, and I guess this is as good as it gets. We may resist our own feelings because they feel bad and pile more and more judgment on top of those things. We might make the stories that we have true over and over by giving it evidence to feed it and then making ourselves feel much, much worse in the process. With our emotions, we might feel an initial emotion like sadness, and then we think about being sad, and then we might shift into blame and blame somebody that we're sad. And then when we go into blame, we might pile on some anger. Like, this jerk did this thing, and now I have to feel sad, and what's wrong with him, and why did he make this choice? And then we've gotten ourselves really worked up and created a lot more drama for ourselves, a lot more emotion for ourselves. This is the difference between pain and suffering. In stage 1, we are suffering. It's like we're taking that initial emotion that we're feeling and we're using it against ourselves. We're punching ourselves in the face over and over and over again by piling on more and more emotion. Another thing we do is switch back and forth between blame and shame. So blame is, it's your fault. Shame is, it's my fault. It's back and forth and back and forth, like taking a mud ball and throwing it over there, splat. And then there's a mess there. And then that mud ball getting thrown back on you, splat. Now there's a mess here. Neither way feels good, but we often go back and forth between the two in stage 1. We might wonder, if only I would have done this. We might ruminate. We might deal with a lot of regret, thinking that things just should be different, should have been different. We create a lot of drama about why it's unfair, why it should not have happened, and tend to feel sorry for ourselves. We may feel like a victim. There's a lot of resistance in this stage, pushing back on our feelings, pushing back on what is, being mad at it, making it wrong. Now, one really important part about stage 1 is that this is our primal brain running the show. As I've mentioned before, we have our primal brain. That's our brain that is just in default mode. It's offering up the thoughts that it's always offered up. It's offering up the feelings that it's always offered up. You might be experiencing patterns over and over again, and even if you know it feels terrible, it's what you know. This stage, you're not being able to even access the wise part of your brain, that prefrontal cortex. It's shut down. Like, we're not open to actual problem solving, how to move forward, because we're in this kind of stage of often fight or flight, reaction, feeling threatened. We're not able to problem solve in this spot. We're not able to access our actual truest, wisest, most grounded self. Okay, that's step 1. Let's move on to step 2. In step 2, this is acceptance. This is when we're able to look at the facts from a fairly neutral space. We're able to separate out more clearly what the actual facts are and what we're making those facts mean. In that first stage, we're generally believing all of our thoughts as truth. He is a jerk. I am not enough. I am this. He is that. Like, we're totally believing them. They're just factual. In stage 2, we are actually able to separate it out and go, this is the thing that happened. This is what I'm believing about it. Also in stage 2, we still feel emotions, sometimes really heavy emotions, but we don't layer them with other emotions. We let them be. It's like going, okay, I'm feeling some sadness. I guess I'm hanging out with sadness right now. We're not judging ourselves for feeling sad. We're not making ourselves wrong for what we're experiencing. Yes, are we creating it with our thoughts? We are, but there's a level of acceptance of it. Like, I guess this is what I need to experience because this is what I am experiencing. We actually lean into the emotion rather than pushing it away, avoiding it, making it wrong. We lean in. We go in deeper in it. We feel it in our body. We ask questions of it. We feel where it is in our body. We ask it what it's trying to teach us. Why are you here? We create a safe place within ourselves to feel. Yes, there can be pain in the stage, but it's not suffering. You're not punishing yourself for the initial emotion. You're just letting it be. It's like a necessary processing, purging, and cleansing. And even though these feelings can be quite uncomfortable, there's also a calm in this space. So with this client with the hurt back, it's like just allowing herself to say, this just is. It's not right or wrong. She allows herself to feel disappointed, maybe even depressed, maybe even frustrated. But she's not piling extra layers of drama on top of it like, bad things always happen to me, or this is not fair. It just is. It just happened. She's just taking it at face value, the actual thing that happened, without all the layers of judgment on top of it. This is where you are giving yourself space for everything that you feel. You're opening up. You're allowing. You're getting grounded in what is. You're acknowledging the thoughts that are creating the results that you're getting. You'll have a clear awareness of what you're creating for yourself with your thoughts without making yourself wrong. It's like you're a scientist with the lab coat on. And you're just like, how interesting. When I put this together with this is what it creates. Now back to the client with the ex-husband and the money situation and all of that, where she feels like he has the life she always wanted. What phase 2 would look like for her is just acknowledging that it is what it is, and not in a trite way of like, throwing up your hands and saying, I guess this is as good as it gets. It is what it is. It's no, it's very different than that. It's acknowledging the facts and acknowledging what you're making the facts mean and really telling yourself the truth about it. I am making it mean that this is as good as it gets, that I got the shaft, that I got the short end of the stick, and those thoughts create so much pain for me that I hide and I withdraw and I feel sorry for myself. And I believe that this is as good as it gets, which of course, when we're looking for that, we're going to create more of it because that's what our brains do. We give ourselves evidence to the thoughts that we're having. So round and round we go. We create more of the same. In this stage, it's just seeing it, just really acknowledging this is what happens when I think this way. It's being able to stand back. There's some space between you and the thought where you can go, I created this. This is where I'm at. And there's no judgment. You're not making yourself wrong for the thoughts that you're having. Okay, step 3, it's the intentional creation of results. And another word for it is now what? So it's like this. This thing happened. Now what? This is what happened. Now what? What do I want to believe? The wisest part of the brain is accessed here. The wisest part of the brain gives you little bits of wisdom of what's possible for you. It helps you remember who you are. Helps you remember where you're going. It helps you see things in an alternate view. This stage 3 is where possibility comes in. This is where the word maybe comes in. If it doesn't mean this, what else could it mean? And this is where the intentional creation of feelings lives, where we decide on purpose what we want to feel and access the thoughts that create that feeling. It's where we try on different emotions and decide which ones we want to play around with. It's where we use those emotions as fuel to take intentional action, which will create new results. This is where you are instructing your brain of what you want to believe instead of just taking the easiest, unexamined offer your brain gives, the path of least resistance. This is a stage where you might feel some resistance because it feels foreign. Like, oh, that sounds hard. It's okay for it to feel hard. There is no right or wrong here, and for some, the what next never comes. Some choose to stay in that space of believing they have been robbed and that something went terribly wrong for them for the rest of their lives. I'm sure you know people like that. It's a painful place to live, but for some, they choose it for themselves. And like I said earlier, there is nothing inherently wrong with this, but it is the experience with life that they're creating for themselves. So why do people choose to stay here? I'll tell you, because our primal brain is running the show. When it's unexamined, the primal brain is running the show. It's screaming at us not to do anything that's too different or too risky, too dangerous, or opening ourselves up to more future pain. We want to avoid pain at all costs. So if we've been hurt, our brain will say, don't do that thing. It hurt you before. Don't do it. Stick to what you know, even if what you know is brutal, even if what you know feels terrible. A lot of people stay there because the thought of doing something different feels so terrifying. It feels like jumping off a cliff into the air and hoping something will catch them. It can feel like a free fall. It takes a lot of courage, my friends, to challenge your own thinking. It's easier not to, so why do it? We do it because we get to create the life experience we want. We have agency. We all have experiences in our life that are handed to us that we got that we didn't necessarily want. And we always have choice within it. We always do. But it requires work. What experiences do you want most? What do you want your life experience to be? And are you willing to do the work for it? So where are you at with this? If you're in stage 1, ask yourself good questions, and it'll help you get clarity about what you want next. Here's a couple questions to consider. What is the upside to staying here in this thought pattern? How is it serving me? What is it pretending to protect me from? What do I risk in letting go? This is all about awareness and telling yourself the truth. When you tell yourself the truth, you get to decide what you want to do with that truth. But until you're willing to hold that mirror up to yourself and really examine the stories you're telling, we're not in a position to process what needs to be processed to move forward. And literally anything is available to you when you decide to create the thoughts and feelings to get the result that you want. Another thing I want to add is that it's totally normal to have one area where you're really clear, where you feel really open, and other areas where you're in stage 1, where you're like, nope, for sure, this is somebody else's fault. For sure, if they would do this thing differently, I would feel differently, where we're really in that resistance space. But the more you practice these tools, the faster you'll get at identifying when you are in stage 1. You'll be able to see it faster. Like, yep, totally know I'm creating this, and I'm okay hanging out here for a while until I decide I'm ready for something else. Again, you're not making yourself wrong for it. You're just noticing. So back to those 2 client stories that I talked about. What stage 3 looks like for both of them. First, the one with the hurt back. Stage 3 is where we open up to problem solving, where we see what control and power we do have. For the one with the hurt back, it's who can I ask for help? These are the things that I wanted to get done. These are the things that I wanted to check off the list. If I can't do it, who else could? What resources do I have? Who could I ask for help? Problem solving. For the client who is feeling stuck and like she got the short end of the stick, this is where she steps back into remembering her own power, remembering her own gifts and abilities, and that her success in life is not contingent on anyone else. It's where she gets to be deliberate about the life she wants for herself, owning what she really wants and deciding to go for it, even if it feels so scary, even if it feels so threatening. Her desire for it overrides the fear. That's what happens in stage 3. It doesn't mean that some of the negative emotions just disappear and go away. It means that we're intentionally choosing emotions that are going to help give us the edge to move forward despite the discomfort. I'm going to give you an example from my own life that happened several years ago. So I was a single mom, and I went hiking with my brothers and my parents, and I was jumping from one boulder to another, and I didn't quite make the jump. I fell, and I broke my foot, and I badly sprained my ankle. I was out of state at the time. I was visiting in Utah. I had lived in California. I got home on a wheelchair, and at the time I had 6 kids that were 15 and under. It was, of course, my right foot, so I couldn't drive, and I was not happy. I was mad. I felt much like my client that came to me last week with the slip disc. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, it's already hard. I'm already a single mom. Like, seriously? This is stupid. I was not happy. I felt really depressed. I felt like it was out of my control and that the things that I was making forward momentum on were now at a standstill. And I just remember feeling so discouraged, so discouraged. Well, at that time, I had to learn to ask for help and to speak up and to ask my kids to pull their weight a little more than they had been. And another miracle happened. One day I got a knock on the door, and it was a beautiful young lady who's a nanny for a neighbor. She was the nanny of a neighbor, and she said that the neighbor of mine had paid her to come help me. Isn't that amazing? She paid her to come help me for several hours, which was just the most biggest miracle. And in this space of accepting instead of resisting and arguing with, when I got to the place where I was willing to accept this is what's happened, this is where I'm at, I was able to allow people to serve me, allow people to help me. And this young adult came to my house, and she was amazing. And she got stuff done. Like, she moved fast. She just went through stuff, cleaned stuff up, got the kids on board, got so much done. And I could just sit there and watch and be so grateful. But I was able to allow her to do it because I was in a place of acceptance instead of saying, no, I've got it, I'm okay, and arguing with it. I let her come. Now, after that happened, it was 2 months later, I woke up one morning with this loud voice, it's time for you to prepare to move. I'm like, what? And my first husband had been passed away for a year, and it really came out of clear blue that it was time for me to move. And I'll tell you what, allowing myself to not be able to do the things that I thought I should be able to do got me to a place where I was ready to move. This young woman that came in and helped so much got things really organized for me. So it didn't feel so daunting to move. I was able to just do it without all the drama. I picked up my kids. I decided that I wanted to go live by my parents. I bought a house close to them, moved to Salem, Utah. We only lived there for 1 year until I got remarried and moved to Montana. But that year was like a breath of fresh air for my kids and for me. We needed that year. And I'm so grateful that I got to a place of acceptance of going, this is the current situation. I do need help, and I allowed it. And then I allowed myself to think of possibility. What else is possible? In this case, it was possible to pick up and move my family from the Bay Area to Utah. So ask yourself where you're at. Where are you? What stage are you in? No answer is a wrong answer. Just tell yourself the truth. Right where you are, I love you. I see you, and you're good. My question for you is, what do you want? What is it costing you to believe something went terribly wrong, and this is as good as it gets? What's it costing you? What do you want to believe instead? Acceptance is the key here, okay? Accepting, leaning into it, dropping the resistance, learning to create safety for yourself around the unknowns. There's so much power here. This is where you learn that you create safety for yourself, that you create your life. Isn't that the best news, that we don't ever have to expect someone else to create things for us and then just wonder if they're going to let us down? No matter what anybody else does, we can learn to have our own back. We can learn to create whatever life we want and to trust ourselves. I can't think of anything more powerful. All right, my friends, that's all I've got for you today. I will see you next week. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye-bye. Thank you for listening to the Heal from Infidelity podcast. If you would like to be kept in the know about upcoming free classes, new podcast episodes, and other ways of working with me, go subscribe to my weekly email. You can subscribe at AndreaGiles.com/lies-about-infidelity/. Again, it's AndreaGiles.com/lies-about-infidelity/. I will see you next time.